Yeah, exactly.
Let me see.
You know, teach them. Teach them.
I'm gonna teach y'all. It's Toru.
There you go.
What's happening, y'all? See, I told you guys I was gonna get somebody awesome on this show, and I have the one and only Toru. I have the one and only, the one of the best of the best, one of the greatest in the kingdom.
Oh, stop.
Her name is Toru.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Thank you so much for coming in. I know we were just chit-chatting a bit, and I was just like, hey, action, let's do this. But honestly, thank you for coming. I've been wanting to basically just sit down with my friends, my girls, just people that are inspiring and inspired, and people that are doing things for the growth of themselves, but the growth of also the community around them. And it's so amazing when you have women out there that are there for you also, and that are there always encouraging you and empowering you and just filling you with like love. And you're definitely one of these women around me, and I'm so grateful to have you. So today, it's a little intro there, today, Ire, I actually want to let me speak briefly about Ire. You said something so profound when you sent me actually the bio about you. You said that obviously, as you can tell, she is a very caring and passionate person, and you are a lover of Jesus Christ.
Yes,
right?
100%.
You said that you live with purpose and want others to be the very best that God has created them to be. And it's nice that you even state that, because I've seen it in your event that you host called True Beauty.
Yes.
So can you just
let's talk
about more of like the you living in purpose part, and then when we tap into the True Beauty.
Okay, yeah. So I personally believe that I want people to know what they're here for on this earth. I believe that we're not just here by mistake. We're not here by accident. I believe that each and every one of us have something that we have to offer, we have to give, and to make this world a better place.
Wow.
So when I see something, I want to speak life into that thing. I don't want to just... Because we live in a world that's hopeless. We live in a world where people are depressed. People, like, anxiety and depression is very prevalent.
Yeah, it is. Especially nowadays, we hear more and more about
and suicide.
That's
another issue that's associated with all those mental illnesses. So I want to shed light, and I want to give... Because if you can give someone purpose, then they have a reason to live. Because it said... Hope deferred makes the heart sick. And if the heart is sick and if hope is deferred, then those two are not a good combination, you see. So I want to give people that reason to live, and I want to encourage them to use that, to utilize their purpose so they can live and not die prematurely.
Oh, wow. That's amazing, because there's a lot of premature death,
yes.
Not only like in physical death, but in visions and dreams and purpose.
Good. Yeah.
There's too many of them, many of them.
Exactly.
And it's awesome that we have people like you, trailblazers, that are just out in the streets, like making sure that the kingdom of God is heard, and it's really amazing. You mentioned something, I like every time you speak, I'm thinking of something else.
This video is going to be 20 minutes. Okay, let's hurry up.
By the way, you mentioned speak life.
Yes.
What do you mean by speak life?
So, in the Bible, it talks a lot about the power of the tongue, and you can either speak life or death. And what you speak is very important. And for me, I live with a very positive view in life. And not like that helps your health,
right?
In so many ways.
And you would know, right?
Because of course, I'm doing nursing,
right? Right. My girls are real, okay.
Because it helps your immune system. It helps your body. You're more at peace. You're not stressed. It helps things, that actually affect your health. So it's a good thing to be positive and to look, and that's why it has that verse in the Bible, because you want to guard your heart. You want to make sure that you have that hope, because when there's no hope, then you have depression, then you have anxiety, then you have all these, and life gets to you. There's no peace. We live in a world where there is no peace. There is zero peace. Everyone's on medication, and it's crazy. And I want to be like, you know what, you guys, there's hope in who? Jesus Christ. Why? Because he actually came and died. You see, because if there was even one person on this earth, he would still come and get off his throne, humble himself, and die, and still save that one person. So for me, I've experienced it in my life, and I want to share that to the world. Yeah, because that song by what's his name, Vashon. Exactly. Nobody greater. He was basically saying everywhere, like underneath the sea, like anywhere, everywhere you go.
David also says the same thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. It's Psalm 139. Where can I get away from you? You can't. He said it's either, even if you believe or not that he's real, he's there. That's it. So
you can't do nothing about.
There's no. For me, what I'm gaining by believing in God, I'm going to heaven.
That's right.
If he's not, it's okay.
It's okay. At least you died. You died a life of purpose. At least you died a life, of peace, of love, of sound-mindedness, of joy. Yes. Right? Instead of dying a life of
crustiness.
Oh, Charlie.
Crustiness. We don't want crustiness.
No, we don't want crustiness. No. Hey, no crustiness, guys.
In 2019.
2019, no crustiness. I refuse it. Sophia Kwa.
Back to say.
Anyways, guys, sorry. Yeah, this is us. So we spoke about purpose. Thank you so much for elaborating on what you meant by speak life. But let's talk about true beauty. Why did you, or what inspired you to start this movement? Something like that. This movement that you have. And why is it called True Beauty? Could you kind of...
Okay, so I was actually in grade 11 when I started the club. It was a women. It started out as a women's club. We met at my house.
Wow.
A couple of us at school, and I spoke to one of my teachers. I involved her, and then I told her about the initiative, and she's like, "Oh my goodness, this sounds good." Because I just wanted to have a conversation, because often I would ask women, I just had this idea, and I was like, I messaged them on Facebook, be like, "Are you beautiful? Or do you think you're beautiful?" And what I found was a lot of people who I thought, you look at somebody like, "Oh my goodness, you're so beautiful, you're so pretty," but they don't see that because they're seeing someone else. Wow. The image that they're seeing is exactly, it's like warped or something. And so I'm like, this is interesting, because I think you're beautiful, and I'm like, let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation about self-esteem, about body, about our issues, and how media, a lot of it was how media affects our perspective and our view on beauty.
Right.
So that's where it started. We met at my house, and then it started happening at school, and then we had this whole week of initiative that we did, where we just opened up and talked. Wow. And then my whole goal was to have a fashion show.
Nice.
That was the root of it, and we tried it when I was in grade 12, but it didn't work. And then after I graduated, a couple of years later, a lady approached me because I spoke at the church, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you're a True Beauty," and blah blah blah. I'm like, I've been meaning to have a fashion show. I've been trying to.
Can we do it now?
And what's good about it is it actually continued for 2 years after I left the school.
That's awesome.
So it went on for 4 years, which was awesome. Amazing. And they raised money to send a girl to go to school in Indonesia or something. Okay. Yeah, which is kind of nice. So then the fashion show, we had it at my church for the first time, and we got to sponsor a girl from Ghana. Nice. Which was nice, and the lady, I told her every 2 years, because it's a lot.
Okay, so that was the last one?
That was the very first one.
Okay.
The very first one in 2016.
That was in 2016.
Yeah, that's the one I did with one of the ladies at my church.
Okay, nice.
And then
you did another one recently, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I told her the whole plan was after she would take her and sponsor her for the next year, and then I would come again and do the event and then give her the money. Okay. So this year, 2019. Oh Lord. So last year to say, last year, just literally it was
like yesterday.
Yeah, I know. So last year, in June was our second event that we had again at my church, and they provided like a lot of stuff. They helped me a lot, and we raised double the money that we needed. Again, it's the same girl, and it's through because I'm a girl, and her family and the community that she's in is benefiting because of this, and that's my vision, and we want to continue that, but it's a lot, so I'm gonna have to wait, and I'm finishing nursing school too, so I can't.
That's good, but at least you're doing something really positive out there, and it's like it's just amazing how when women are open and vulnerable with each other, what you could create out of it.
Exactly.
And then you're not only the one receiving, the women are not the only one receiving, but a young woman in Africa, in Ghana, let's be precise here, in Ghana, is,
the recipient.
It's the recipient of it, right? And I think this is how the world actually should be. When we are vulnerable and open with each other, and when we express how we feel and so on and so forth, it creates like so much more positivity. It just, I don't know, I just think that it's amazing. It's really amazing what you're doing with True Beauty. And I was at the last
she actually spoke at the last event.
Yeah, I did a short.
I had to get my girl let's go.
Yeah, she kicks my ass like all the time. I really
because the reason why is because it was not only a fashion show, because the first one was just a fashion show. It was a tea party, so it was only women only. And this time I said, you know what? Men struggle. Exactly. Men struggle. Men struggle even more because they don't talk about it.
Exactly.
Which is a shame because they should.
But now it seems like some of them are gradually trying to.
With the what's that thing? Me Too movement. There was some guys coming out too, so that's good. Okay. But I opened the floor. I said women and men can come because we need to have a conversation about this. And it was a talent show, so your girl spoke at it.
Awesome. Yeah.
What's the title of it?
I Am Woman. That piece was kind of something else, but
I hope it's not a one-hit wonder. Well, wait.
I'm praying to God now, my sister. I have to get on my knees because I've been like, God, what's the inspiration? But I have to do the work too, right?
Exactly.
Anyways,
when I think of the word beauty, I not only think of the physical aspect, but I think of the inner aspect. Because the logo for the movement club, whatever you want to call it, is true beauty inside out. So beauty is not just the physical appearance. Part. It says in Proverbs 30. You know how it talks about, it describes the Proverbs. Is it 30 or 31?
Let's go read it.
Women,
Proverbs
where it says
Proverbs 30 women.
Yeah, beauty is deceptive or something. Charm is deceptive. Beauty is fleeting. But a woman who fears the Lord will be praised.
Amen.
That's what it says.
Wow, you're so in depth with the word. That's so amazing. I'm praying to God that one day I'll be like you.
It's being in Brockville and doing only nursing.
What else you gotta do? Your word.
What it is? Hey, what it is? Word. That's it. Anyone that will be a trailblazer has to go to their own desert.
When you say desert, like fine, you went to your desert.
Yes.
And it was just those three things. It was school, the word, and church, right? Yes. But can someone else's desert not be that? Can it not be a desert? Because when you tell me the word desert,
you
think about really not being distracted by anything, and still having obviously distraction is everywhere.
It's everywhere.
But just
you're not gonna run away from it.
It definitely, but just having it a bit less. Because what in the world you're gonna find in the desert? You know what I mean? It's not like there's cars driving by there and trying to sell you stuff.
No, so what I mean by and when I say those three things, church is fellowship.
Yeah.
When I go to church, it's not like and I went to church every Sunday in Brockville because it kept me sane. If it wasn't for church, I swear I would have been in Royal Ottawa, because the nursing program is drilling. Like it really, because that's the whole point. If you're going to be caring for people, life and death, you know, and in time of where they're at their lowest, you need to have, you know, those perseverance characteristics to see them through and to be there for them, to be compassionate and to care for them when they literally hate you.
Yeah.
You know, because people can come out in different ways when they face
difficulties.
Exactly.
Suffering.
Yeah, and even their family members, if they're losing their family members, if they're losing their loved ones, then they can show it in a variety of ways, and you have to be mentally, physically prepared to see that, and just, that's not them, it's what they're going through.
Right.
And so for me, my desert, although like when I say, oh, all I had was church, God, and school, it was so fun. I met one of the greatest women in my life who supported me. Wow. My spiritual mothers, I like to call them. But they were there for me. They like fed me, gave me a house to stay, like fellowshipped every Friday, and took me to a lot of, exposed me to a lot of like prophetic hearing and things like that. So when I say it was a desert, that's a term. Okay. But when you, it's like when you actually open it, there's life in there. Inside. It looks dry.
Wow.
But when you unveil what's in the desert, there's living water. And that's where you find the living water. When you go to that place of rest, you know, after Jesus fasted for 40 days, the power. Now, he was God himself, but he still had to show us what it was like, what the sacrifice that you have to do before you start your ministry. Right. So you're not drawing from emptiness, you're drawing from the everlasting water. And that is what true beauty is. It's drawing in from who you are inside out.